Hello, my name is Alexandru and I am a Romanian-born seeker of truth, a lifetime student in the Gurdjieff groups all around the world. And I have authored quite a few books on the Gurdjieff teaching, including books describing in detail the practical internal exercises and the famous movements and sacred dances. This channel is about the Enneagram brought by Gurdjieff, to whom we will always be grateful for bringing such a tremendous teaching and sharing it with us. Among my books about the Enneagram, you can see here the cover of Process Coaching with the Enneagram and the cover of the Business Enneagram. I also highly recommend the books written by my friend Adrian Mirel Petrariu, especially his grand opus, The Mythology of the Energy. Among his books on the Enneagram, you can see here the cover of the Gurdjieff Enneagram Origins and the fabulous The Enneagram of Thought. In today's video, we'll speak about how to sell a product to a customer in front of you. The Enneagram is an instrument to help us to achieve triadic perception and mentation, whereas our ordinary mental processes are linear and sequential. The world in which we live is threefold. This quote by Bennett clearly explains the general meaning of the Enneagram. The symbol consists of a circle representing the law of unity, a six figure, a hexade representing the law of 7, and a triangle representing the law of 3. In this chapter, I will present the necessary steps that one needs in order to sell something to a client in front of you. This information comes mainly from the courses of Grant Cardone, like selling a car, a fridge, a house, a phone, etc. The three forces that enter into this process are selling, negotiating, and closing. Grant Cardone used to say selling is a prerequisite for life, one of the gurus of sales he is. You should always sell yourself and the things in which you believe to others if you want to have a happy life. With this attitude, every time you get your way in life is practically a commission. Examples of commissions could be recognition, a raise, getting new friends, getting votes, etc. Life is also a series of negotiations. You do not get what is fair or what you deserve, you get what you are negotiating for. In business, the nice guy doesn't win. The best product or the best service doesn't win. The best negotiator usually wins. Closing is the one skill in life which will make a difference. A service whereby you are aiding someone in making a decision to exchange something of value. The winner's exchange is when the received value is worth more than the money given. A small close could be getting an appointment, a big one finishing a transaction. In the illustration you can see the three forces, and do notice that I have used selling for the first one, negotiating skills for the second one, and closing skills for the third one. Whenever you have a product to sell and a potential customer enters the store, let's say, this process will start to unfold. For the sale process to work, it has to be good for the customer and good for the salesperson. The following process is designed to gain trust, select the right product for the customer, present it, and sell it. So the do be when the customer enters the shop. From another point of view, the beginning is the attitude you have on life, selling, etc. This attitude needs to be in place at do if you want the process to continue behind the initial steps, beyond me. The first step at point 1 on the Enneagram is the greeting. In this part, it's important to know what to say and what not to say to the potential customer. The purpose of this step is to make the customer feel welcome and to introduce and differentiate yourself from other salespersons. The manner in which you handle the person will build rapport or not, and it is a critical step in order to find common ground and move to the following steps. Next, we have fact-finding. This point on the Enneagram is represented by the questions asked to determine what is vital for the customer, what is wanted and not, and this is quite important to you in order to be able to put your customer to the right product for him or her. The purpose of this step is to find the dominant buying motives of the person in front of you. Your job is not to change his mind, but to find the right product for them. This is point number 2 on the Enneagram. After this, the interval appears, as some people will not answer questions that easy or refrain from giving you details about what interests them. And negotiating skills are required in order to know how to ask smart questions, how to be interested in the client, not interesting yourself, etc. As mentioned earlier, negotiating skills are a must in life and in sales, and without this second force, the customer might just give an abrupt reply like "I'm just looking" and leave the shop after that, in which case you practically go back to door and wait for another customer to walk in and begin the process again. The impulse from this second force, from this second door, should help you transition between the fact-finding and the selection at point number 4 on the Enneagram. I will continue to explain the main octave and give the reader the details about the second and third octaves just after that. At point number 5 on the Enneagram, we have the selection, identifying the correct product or products, the ones that are most suitable to satisfying the buyer's wants and needs, and at the same time their buying patterns. It happens more than often that the customers walk in with a product in mind that will not satisfy his wants and needs, and if you as a seller insist on giving details only about that product, the result will be that the buyer will soon realize it and it is not the right product for him and just leave. Because if the buyer would have been sure about what he wants and needs, he would have bought the product already, not be in your shop looking around. The next step, after identifying the right product, is the demonstration at point number 5 on the Enneagram. Here we show the features, what it is and what it does, the advantages, why it is better than other products, and the benefits, what the customer gets, presenting all this to the customer and demonstrating in a manner which creates urgency and desire for ownership. As we can see, the law of 3 also applies here. We need to present first the features, then the advantages, and 3 benefits in order to have the desired result, creating the urgency to buy and the sense of ownership. Of course, this is true for each stage of the process, for each note of each octave. Each note is an octave in itself, and we could break that note into the 3 forces, etc. However, we will not give all these details to the reader at this point in this presentation, as the main purpose is to present the 3 main octaves for each process in order to create a broader point of view on the Enneagram as a business tool. After point number 5 on the Enneagram, we have another interval. Both the main octave and the second one will come to a stop. Let's review our illustration at this point. So at point 0 we have selling, at point number 1 the greeting, 2 fact-finding, 3 negotiating skills, the beginning of the second octave, 4 the selection, 5 the demonstration. If we do not use our closing skills at point number 6, the client will not go on to the next stage, will only remain at "these are interesting information, I will get back to you after I decide." As we will see when I will present the stages for the second and third octave, the closing skills are mandatory at this point, and we should start to use them towards the end of the demonstration to facilitate the transition to the left side of the Enneagram, to the next stage of the main octave, point number 7, which is the service walk. This step, the service walk, takes only 5 minutes or more, usually, and can demonstrate the strength of your company, the ability to service your customer after the sale. This will foster familiarity and assure the customer that he is part of a bigger family. Next, at point number 8 on the Enneagram, we have the write-up. This is a vital step, and without this, all the previous steps and the next ones are a waste of time and energy. Every customer, with no exception, should be brought inside to present a proposal, or you will not be able to close. Handle their fears and offer to them all the information in writing so that they could make a better decision. Go around all the objectives, agreeing that you will do nothing else than give some figures, all the information. If everything goes well, the customer will buy, and the next phase will be the delivery. If not, the next phase will be a follow-up. Delivering the product should be done in such a manner that the customer is happy and understands how to use the product. This will improve the customer satisfaction scores and ensure repeat and referral customers. If the client does not buy, he will be part of a follow-up process based on the fact-finding stage. Practically, the relationship with the customer will fall back to the bottom of the Enneagram. Either you will contact him to offer a different product at a later date. This is going back to point number 4, the selection, by selecting a different product to present him. Or you will contact him to offer the same product, but with a slight difference in features or in price. This is going back to point number 5, the demonstration. I will now provide the steps for the second and third octaves, in this case the negotiation octave and the closing octave. Do bear in mind that these steps will follow the same path on the circle as the main octave, thus having more than one thing happening at the certain point. But first, let's recap the stages of the first octave. Do, it's the attitude clients walk in. Re is the greeting. Mi, fact-finding. Fa, the selection. Sol, the demonstration. La, service walk. Si, write-up. Now let's see the stages of the second octave. Do, the wants and desires of the client. Re, product negotiation. Mi, features negotiation. Fa, guarantee negotiation. Sol, payment negotiation. The product negotiation is about which product. The feature negotiation is about which and how many features. This will usually increase the price. The guarantee negotiation at Fa is about how many months, full guarantee or not, etc. And payment negotiation at Sol is about paying cash or card or transfer on the spot or at the moment of delivery or by installments. Now let's see the stages of the third octave. At Do, projecting ownership. At Re, trial close. At Mi, money close. Projecting ownership is about using assumptive statements and language patterns such as your insert product, like your car, your fridge, because mental ownership precedes every purchase. Trial closes are questions that test the mental ownership of the client, their aim being to give you a sense of what they think and feel so that you can adjust the next step. This is just asking for an opinion, not for a decision, like the next step, the money close. Classic examples of trial closes are questions like, it seems you really like this, is that true? Would you be proud to own this? What's the greatest benefit you have seen so far? The money close is the specific moment or point of action where you exchange a product for money. Statements like, let's do this and let's move forward are to be used at this point. The best practice is to be seated, both you and the client, and you propose this in writing, hence the write-up stage. Always treat the prospect like a buyer and smile no matter the outcome. Depending on the context, there are different scenarios and strategies to use at this stage. Closes about the money, how much and why, about the product, which features and why, or about the time, when to pay and how. Now that we have the complete information for this process, let's see some connections and correspondences. Most of these are quite easy to see, like the connection between the selection and the product negotiation at point number 4, or between money close and the write-up at point number 8. The reader is also encouraged to see the relevant correspondences on the hexate in order to understand how the different stages of the different processes are related. I will give just one example. The me of the first octave, the fact-finding, at point number 2, and the me of the second octave, the features negotiation, at point number 5, and the me of the third octave, the money close, at point number 8, are all related. You need to use the information from the fact-finding about the client, what he owned in the past and why, in order to negotiate the features that are right for him, which will result in a cheaper product or a more expensive one. And this will change the way in which the prospect will pay you, on the spot or by installments, for example, so you need to use the appropriate clause. The reader should try and discover the correspondences for the other hexide lines. This can be by dyads, I mean just 2 things that are in correspondence, or by triads, 3 things that correspond, like the example I have just given you. This example was from my book, The Business Enneagram, published in 2020, and if you want more information, you have the book cover at the beginning of this video. And for more details about the books that we have published, and also about online programs dealing with theory, practical internal exercises, and Gurdjieff Movements explained step by step, you can visit Gurdjieff Online. Or if you are interested only in the movements and sacred dances, you can visit the Gurdjieff Movements, and there you can find different series of complexity explained step by step. All my best.